Okay, in this video we are going to learn about the reporting services, about the SQL server. Now let's go and start the Visual Studio. Usually you can actually create a report of the reporting service by using the Visual Studio, or you can use the Business Intelligence Development Studio. Either way it's okay, but if you are using a Visual Studio, it's better. Now remember one thing, that Visual Studio Professional onwards you get the reporting service option into it, otherwise you won't be getting it. Okay, this is a Visual Studio Professional edition, so let's actually start the option of creating a report. Go to the file. Once you have started, you can also do it with the same thing with the Business Intelligence Development Studio, no problem at all. Select the file and select a new. As you can see, the new has started. Select the new and then select the project. Once you select the project, what happens is that it will give you a lot of options on the screen, and from that options you have to select the report wizard or report project depending upon what your requirement is. Let's wait for some time till it shows up. Now here it is coming up. As you can see, the business intelligence project option is actually installed. When you select this option, most probably when you will be installing a Visual Studio 2008, it may not show you this option as I was trying to do it. What happens is that if you have a SQL server installed already, and if you're not seeing the options in the Visual Studio, don't worry about it. Install one of the options of bb.net or ch depending upon whatever you want, and you will see that the Visual Studio has installed a business intelligence project. Now there is no problem with this thing. As you can see, the report server project, and you can see the report server project wizard. Now let's actually look into the detail. What is the project wizard? And see, the project wizard will actually help you to guide to the create the report. Every time you want to create a report, a new report, project report server project wizard will create a new report. Means it will create a new project. With the project server, with the report server project, you can actually create a report, and you can create a multiple report in the same project. We will start with the report server project wizard, and then we will go to the report server project. We will look into both of the things to make things easier for you. Now what happens is, basically once you have created a report, you have to deploy the report to the server. Now in my case, I have some problems with the deployment because the server is not working for some problems, but doesn't matter. Once you actually build the report, and if it gives you a 00 error, you can deploy the report, and that once deployed, you can see that thing into an HTML browser, like a web browser like Internet Explorer, or what you call Firefox, or a Google Chrome, or maybe other like Opera. Okay, in this case, now it has been shown to me is that the name of the project, what should I like to put it? Okay, let's put it as a project 1 demo. I'm going to change the name to the project name to the demo. As you can see, demo 1. Create a directory for the solution, good enough, and this time I am going to select the report wizard. as you can see, once I start select the report wizard, the wizard will start and it will start showing me how to create a report in the first place. Let's go and actually click on OK. Once I click OK, the wizard screen would show up. Here it is. As you can see that the screen has shown up, and in this case I am going to select next. What happens is, here is the data source, shared data source. Now in this case I don't have any shared data source. Okay, so it has dimmed that thing automatically, and we have moved to the new data source 1. And you can see that there is a data source 1. It has given it a name. I will leave it as in this case I will leave the name as it is. Okay, and in this Microsoft SQL Server I can type the connect string if I remember, or I can copy and paste it from somewhere else. In this case I will actually go and build it with 1 using an edit. Now remember, there is a big difference between creating the connecting string and just pasting it. Once you are choosing edit, it will throw up the options of selecting a SQL server into you, or depending on what database you want to select, like OLDB database or some other database. Now in this case, the window authentication, you can use the SQL server authentication option, which will be more appropriate for you if you are actually, if your database administrator doesn't want you to get it connected to all the database, and which is true to a certain extent. Nobody would like a user to be getting a report user to get connected to the database with the administration right. So they would be definitely creating a SQL server user for you, and you would be asked to put the username and the password. Now the thing is that if you are using a SQL server authentication, remember that you will have to put this username and a password in credentials as well. Otherwise it will keep on prompting you every now and then for the username and the password. Now here is the server name. I am just going to type the server name directly, as in the case. In this database I am going to type the database name. Pubs is the same database as the pubs. Okay, once let me check it out whether the server name has been typed correctly. Yes. Okay, let me test the connection. The test connection has succeeded. So far so good. And I am going to select OK in this case, and as you can see that the connect string has jumped up here. Now remember at credentials, the credential part I was talking about, if you use a SQL server connection, then you better put the password and the name in the credential. Don't worry about the password, it is encrypted. Okay, now here it gives me an option of shared data source. Now if I make this option as a shared data source, what will happen is that I can use this option again whenever I want to create another report. In this case I am going to skip it. I am going to say next. Now here it gives me an option of query builder as well as a query string. Now if I have the query, the SQL code, I can just cut and paste that SQL code here, right here, or I can use a query builder to build a query for the report. whatever comes here will actually show up in the report. Now I'm going to show you how to use a query builder this time. Now as you can see, it takes some time. As you can see, whenever you will be having 4 panes, that would be showing you the SQL pane, the grid pane, and then you will be having the other panes like output, here we are. Again, as you can see, here are the panes that actually, if you see, here is the first pane, and then there is a column, there is a tabular pane, okay, and there is a SQL pane, and there is a result pane. Now if you click on one of these, you see that it comes and disappears. If you move to the next one, it says hide and show the grid pane. This is a SQL pane diagram, hide and show the diagram pane. This is a diagram pane, okay, the first one. This is a hide and show the grid pane, and then there is SQL pane, and there would be definitely the result pane. The other one, exclamation mark, is used to run the SQL server. Run the SQL command or the query, whatever you have created. This is to verify the SQL. Now, if you are going to type it, you better verify it. Otherwise, if you are building a SQL, you do not verify it. There is no problem usually, but still, if you want to be very sure, better verify it. And then there is the import option. I will not go into those things. Now, this is the table option. It allows you to select the table. Click on it, and you will be shown the list of the tables from the PUBS database. Here it is. As you can see, there are a lot of tables and other things. In this case, I am just going to use one only and one table only itself, and I am going to use the other option for the next video, like creating with the report projects for the multiple tables. Okay, and to make the starting first report simpler, let's go and click add option. I've just taken one table this time to make the things easier for you to start, make things very simple, so that you understand the things, how to create a report. My idea is not to show the complexity of the things. My idea is to show that you understand these things first. Okay, in this case, I'm going to select the employee ID, employee first name, employee middle name, employee last name, and I will skip the little bit other things like that, and I will choose a hire date. I don't need a publisher ID. Okay, here is a, as you can see, the SQL it has generated, and here sort types and other types, will cover it in the next video. Right now, okay, to execute this SQL, let's go and click run this command. And once I run this SQL command, it will give me a result in the result pane. As you can see, the query is getting executed. Hold on for a minute. There we are. As you can see, that we have got a SQL command here getting executed, and the result has shown up. Now I can click OK and move to the next screen. Once I click OK, it will show up the SQL command in the other screen. As you can see, in this case, I've just selected few of the columns, and I'm going to move to the next. Now here it allows me two different types of report type. One is a tabular, and the other one is a matrix. See, matrix is very similar to the pivot tables or cross tab reports. Right now I'm going to use the tabular one, and I'm going to move to the next. Now this is actually a group by field, and this would be what by page by field. We'll cover all these things in the details in the other reports. Right now I'm going to use it for the details only, I am not going to make it complex, unnecessary, and I am going to move to the next. I am going to select these are different table styles. You can select the forest, you can select corporate, bold, oceanic, generic. I am going to select the oceanic, and I am going to select the next one. And this is the report server. As you can see, it shows you the report server name. For the report server running in the native method, the method of the report server here the project is deployed. As you can see, usually it will be a local host if you are using on the same computer. Otherwise it would be server name wherever you want to deploy the report to, that address you would be putting it here. In this case I am not going to, and this would be the folder for the deployment folder, actually where actually the report is going to get deployed to. And in this case you can use this way also as the deployment. This is the very similar thing, server name report. Instead of the report name it says here document and the report folder, and so on and so forth. Okay, and let's move to the next. If I want to preview the report, I can give a report name. I'll give it a report name, report employee, and if I want I can use the preview command here, but in this case I am going to skip it just for the sake of the I am going to show you more options, and I am going to click the finish. And as you can see, once I click the finish, you will be able to see the report in the report designer, and you can actually modify the report once the report is shown to you. There we go. As you can see that the report has been created. Okay, let's move a little bit this thing to the up. Let's first preview the report. What happens? Now I am previewing the report. It is actually taking the data from the data source and actually showing it to you here. As you can see that the report is being generated. Here we are. As you can see, here the report has come up, and we are going to actually drag down the report to see the details of the report. So far so good. I can see that the employee ID is there, employee. See, the report name is here, employee report employee. I don't want this thing to be coming up. Okay, and I just don't like this date and the column heading names correctly to be. This is not the way I would like to my report to be. Okay, so first thing first, I'm going to double click it so that I go to the employee. I can select this thing, the report of the employee, and I can retype whatever I want. In this case I will say okay, in this case I just say put it as employee report. Let's go and select this thing. Now if you click on the side of this thing, as if you want to see it, how it works, see, basically is a tabular report. what it does, it's putting a active X control into this thing. If you have used Visual Basic or something, you know what active X control is. This is basically an active X control that is being as you can see, this is basically an active X control that is being put here. Okay, and what I want to do is actually if I give you a click on it, you will be able to see that it is an active X control. Okay, you can see it. Now I can go and change the name into the employee ID. I can just go and check it, and I can change it to the employee ID, as you can see, and I'll just change it and come back. Here we are. As you can see that I have changed the name of the headings, changed the heading text, sorry, and you can see that I've also changed the report header as well. And let's preview this thing, and let's first save the thing. So go to the save the selected item. Once I save it, the report would be saved, and then we can go to the preview options and see the report, how it works. The report is being generated, and you will be able to see that there will be whatever the new column name I have typed and the employee name. Now it looks presentable. Now the problem is, as you can see, the last name and other things are quite okay to me, but the middle in it is unnecessarily occupying too much space, and the hire date is not showing me the correct format. I do not want to have the time format as it is there. I would just like to have the date format, and the middle in it, that is just having a single letter, is occupying too much space. So I am going to reduce that thing. I am going to go back to the design board again. Here I am back to the design, and just I have to click on the column name and drag it a little bit inside. Just go to the top of this thing and drag it to the here. So just leave it because I have said it in it. And now there are two options I can do with the hire date. Either I can increase the column width if I want with the time, or I am going to change the format of this date. So what I am going to do is actually going to right click on the hire date, and then I am going to go and go to the expression. Once I go to the expression, I can go and change the hire date format. Do not click on the field name, click on the column header name, otherwise you will land up on the wrong place. In this case, actually I clicked on the field name, that's why actually I landed up in the wrong place. So click on the column header name and you will get the expression. Okay, something is wrong, hold on. Okay, sorry about it. Actually you have to go to the text box properties, not to the expression. Okay, sorry, we cannot actually control from the expression. We have to go to text box properties, and we are going to change the format of the column. What happens is, once I go and change the format of the column, I will be able to get, I will go to the number. This is formatting the actually how you want your date to be looking. Here it is. I can choose any one of them. I would choose this one, or I can choose this one, 01, 031 or 2001. I can go and look into the more formats if I want. I prefer this one, which is much more easier to read for any human being. Some people like to have it in the American way, some like to have it in a British standard date, but this is more readable. I will put it as 2000 because I would like to have the full digit, and here it is. I'm going to click OK, and we should be able to get a good preview now. It's generating the report again, and we are back to the OK. It did not show up. Let's go and see why. Maybe we did not select the OK option with it. Here we are. You should have gone here instead of going to the heading part of it, and this is how actually we made a mistake, and this is how we are going to correct it. And this time it's going to be number. Again we are going to go to the date, and again we are going to go down. All said and done. That was a mistake, and because we actually were changing the heading format, that we should have not done it. And we are going to click OK, and now it should give us a correct preview. That's it. As you can see that we have got a correct preview of the report, and the report is looking very good. As you can see, it has generated a good report. We have got employee. We could have put many things like it, putting it to actually to the dates and other things. We will come with those things later. Okay, now here is an export option. If I want, I can save it again, and then I can go to the export option. In the export option, it allows me to export the report to the different formats, like Acrobat PDF format. I can send it to the Excel format, I can send it to the HTML format, and I can send it to many other format like TIFF. TIFF is actually basically a graphical picture format, and then there are many other formats. Here it is, export. Okay, here is the XML, here is the CVS, that is comma delimited, then there is the Acrobat PDF, then HTML web archive, then there is the Excel, and then there is a Word. Word has been added recently. It allows you to modify the report once you have exported to the Word. You can change the format of the report. With the Acrobat PDF, you won't be able to change the format of the report that easily. And then Excel, if you want to do some computation, you can always export it to Excel. If you wanted to do more analysis upon the report, or if you wanted to do more graphical, create more graphical chart representing the report, or maybe your data you needed it into the Excel, whatever the reasons is. Now TIFF is actually a graphical file. In the case if you want to send it something to the image file, then this is a CSV, this is a comma delimited text file, then there is XML, which is mostly used for the Internet Explorer only. In the most of the cases, you may be able to use it with this thing, but by default, if you have an Internet Explorer on your computer, it will register with the XML, and whenever you run the report for the XML, it will actually start in the Internet Explorer. In this case, I am going to show it to you with the Acrobat PDF, and you will see it is creating a report and exporting it to the PDF format, and it will actually put that report into the PDF format. Once that report has been put into the PDF, you can always send it to by the email. As you can see, a lot of other things have jumped up. I can say save it, and you will be able to save that report. In later case, you can want to send it by the email to somebody, you can send it by email to someone. That's it. And I will now actually show you a few more options, as you will actually like to go into the more details. Now that you have this thing, now you can actually select this thing, and you can say project, right click, and you can say build. Once you start building, the report is built. Actually in this case it is not showing the HTTP the server wherever it's going to deploy that thing, because it has some, this server has some problem with the reporting server, that is not being able to create it. Otherwise, if you go and see into the properties, you should be able to see this is a server where it will be, you can type this address and you should be able to see the report whatever you want. And remember that you can use the Internet Explorer and other browsers as well as to see the report. And I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to show you how to deploy it, but in this case it is going to give an error anyway till I rectify this problem. Otherwise it is okay, you can always actually deploy later also, but I will show you you can deploy the report. It says deploy started. As you can see, it has already given me an error. It has been giving me an error. But once what happens is, basically if you actually deploy it, it will actually show up into the Internet Explorer. Once it shows up into the Internet Explorer, okay, what you can do, either you can type the URL address of the server name, whatever it is, or once you show up, you can always export it to other formats again. That's it, no other big deal. You can always use any Internet Explorer or other browsers to check it out. Click OK, and this is how you would be actually deploying your report to the report server. That's it. Now if you want to look into the reports thing server where you want to connect it to, you can go to the tools, you can go to the connect to the server. In this case you can type the server name, that is your name of the computer, or the IP address. Here it is. As you can see, once I connect it to the server, it shows up the server details. And then you can click on the plus and it will expand the tree, and it will keep on showing you every details of it. And then I am going to look into few other details. I'm not going to go to the import. Okay, now that's it. I think so for the first video, that's more than sufficient. You can save this thing, and we will just stop here for this video. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.